I got one company here that is they're going to be reducing its workforce. Headcount reduction of 8%, seen to generate run rate savings of $110 million. That's Seagate, which reported disappointing quarter.
It's terrible.
And I think you can see what the stock is doing, STX. They reported customer inventory corrections worsened later in the quarter, likely contributing to further loss of leverage. This is a note I'm reading from Credit Suisse. Revenue was $2.04 billion. That was below many analysts' estimates. And the street, you can see also, and they reduced their guidance as well.
No, that was terrible.
It had been $2 to $2.2 billion, so the lowered guidance previously. So, yeah, not a great quarter. Also something about an investigation in terms of Huawei. They put out a filing. They received a proposed charging letter from the U.S. Department of the Bureau of Industry and Security alleging violations of the U.S. Export Administration regulations, acting in violation of that by providing Seagate hard drive disks to a customer and its affiliates that were listed on that barred entity list, essentially.
What would happen? What would happen if the Chinese planes are filled with American semiconductors? What would happen if one of these agencies said, you know what, we're not going to let the Chinese have our semis? Would they therefore buy Boeing planes? You can't buy Airbus planes. They're not available. They're sold out through. If China doesn't buy these last 100 planes that have been sitting on the tarmac, let me tell you, they're going to go to other people quickly. Now, I do want to point out, I'm going to give the contrary view to what happens if you get a sobered analysis from any of the people at Alphabet or Microsoft. You will want to buy. And the reason I say that is because Sanjay Mehrotra at Micron went from being bullish to bullish to bullish to bearish to bearish to bearish. Okay, not only Sydney at the bear, whom I met last night at Time 100.
I saw that.
Who's spectacular. But the bearish. On the third bearish, on the third realization that things have gotten quite bad, the stock went from 48 to 57 and is up again today. So those who want to sell these companies, all you have to do is have some of these, any one of the CFO, CEO come out and say, you know what, we're getting religion. We see that there are problems, and we're going to do what's necessary. As Sanjay Mehrotra has, look at that stock. I call that bottom. So those who want to sell these stocks have to be careful, because if any of the CEOs or CFOs come on and just say, you know what, I listened to Jim Cramer, he's ill-advised, we're actually taking the medicine, we're not just not hiring and putting a hiring freeze on, we are looking for places to be able to fire. And then you're going to say, well, the next quarter is obviously going to be bad. That's the second bear. Right. And then you're going to have to buy. So we might be closer to bottom and top. They just need to have a different attitude.
Would you argue that's sort of the tone Mattel gave you last night? They did cut the guide. It's new 52-week low this morning.
Elon Kreis is saying, okay, you can sell it now, but you must know that we have a Mattel movie coming out. We have 14 new movies coming out. You can sell it if you want to. Our costs weren't great, but understand that we are really going to be an actual entertainment company next year. That was one of those be my guest and sell it if you'd like to. Another be my guest and sell it if you'd like to is Chipotle.
I was going to say, yeah. Costs up 20 on a 2-year stack over at CMG.
And yet they still did incredibly well. The analysts tried to pigeonhole them as saying, listen, in small towns, you're not doing that well. And that's because there is the beginning of your prices are too high. I thought that was hogwash. They had 4 different elements, very important elements. Dairy was up, avocado was up. All I can tell you, David, is if Chipotle had a break in one of many commodities, you'll say, I sold it because of small town comp sales. You'll be wrong.